It's finally here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last issue of Cyberfrog that I have. So if you subscribe to me strictly for the Cyberfrog, it was nice knowing you. And if you're thinking about subscribing for more Cyberfrog, probably don't. But, you know, I did order blood, honey, so I might make a video when that comes out. I want to try to do something different, you know. Maybe I'm going to strap a couple firecrackers to some frogs as Cyberfrog's rocket boots. Maybe put a little tinfoil around them to give them that cyber look, and then put myself in some perilous situations and see if they rise to the occasion. You know, something different. So let's just get into this Cyberfrog number 4. Look at this cover. Wowie. I mean, I think this is the best Cyberfrog cover of all the ones that I've gotten. I mean, just look at this. He's downright majestic. He's got his tongue going, and it's wrapping around this guy. So we know he's got an extra long tongue, and we know that he just looks freaking fantastic. So, you know what, let's get into this. I'm going to skip the first page, but if you recall, I think I had 3. This is number 4. If you recall, he saves Heather. She's sleeping on his couch, which means Cyberfrog's sleeping on the floor because, what? He's a gentleman sometimes. And he offers her, he asks if she wants one lump or two, but you know what? He's drinking soda for breakfast because I think he's said he doesn't like coffee. Probably some anti-Starbucks saying, oh, Cyberfrog, I don't even think you're ready for the amount of Starbucks that are around in 2018. But I just would like to point out, he's 90s as fuck. He's having soda for breakfast. I pulled that stunt myself a lot in college, and you know what? Sometimes I still do it to this very day. I mean, sometimes you wake up and you just gotta have a Coke. So let's just get into this shit. So she's pretty alarmed, Heather Swan here, but it's like, hey, this guy is saving you, and your morning breath is bad. This is how much of a G. This is how much Cyberfrog don't give a fuck. I feel like it's definitely a potential T-shirt. So she's remembering everything that happened. She was chased down with the Deathfly. Cyberfrog keeps saving this bitch because she was nice to him. Alright, that's going to come into play later. Now just get a look at Heather here. Guys, put those boners away because this girl is in high school. Maybe you can fool yourself into thinking maybe she failed a grade or two. But I mean, she's hanging out with Cyberfrog and she looks like this. If anything, you look like this in like 93. I feel like you get to skip a couple grades. So, she can't believe everything that's happening. She just wants to be taken home. And we see Cyberfrog, he's going to do you a favor. He's going to take you home. But he's going to do it his way. He's a real man's frog. So, look at Heather. She's just barely holding on. I feel like you could describe Cyberfrog as a little bit of a bucking bronco. But he wants to know why the Deathfly guy, why he's so interested. She'd rather not talk about it. I mean, I feel like talking in this situation will probably be super hard as fuck. Like, how is she not puking anyway? Like he cares, but do it anyway, because he cares, but he doesn't want you to know that he cares, because he's got a tough image he's trying to put out there, you know? He's kind of a softie on the inside. But isn't that how all people are? Anybody who's like, I'm fucking tough. It's like, yeah, get to know them for 5 seconds, and you realize they have like 3 kittens at home. And they play with them, like, a lot. Like, more than the average amount. Like, what's the cutoff for, like, kitten play? Like, you play with your kittens for a total of, like, 15 minutes a day? That guy's rocking at least half an hour. So he's literally jumping on cars because he can't fly, but he's using these rocket boosters, so beautifully illustrated by our boy, Ethan Van Sciver. And she's freaking out. You're jumping in rush hour traffic. I mean, yeah. Because Cyberfrog, you asked him to take you home, and you can't complain about this. And so she says she's going to be sick. And of course, yeah, she does, but you know what? She definitely does get, because you know, that's an onomatopoeia right there. You're not just going to do that and then not. I feel like that's a misdemeanor if you make that sound and you don't actually, you know, regurgitate food. So he's like, you know, she almost puked on our boy Cyberfrog. Almost got on his shoulder, but he would have dropped her ass like Hurt's done OJ. Still topical. I still gift that reference. Partly due to Kanye. Partly due to, you know, just... I feel like people are born now knowing about the OJ trial. Especially with that Cuba Gooding series that, you know what, it's not even about Cuba Gooding in that, but I don't even know who else to reference in that. I don't know the white lady actor. I don't know her name. John Travolta. He's barely in it, but he's good in it. But so we'll just call it the Cuba Gooding thing. So, what do we... Oh, yeah, he says, you stopped trembling, warming up to the frog, eh? Shared vomit experience always seemed to break the ice. Do you have a friend that you've had a shared vomit experience? Because I feel like it's bonding. I've been in a situation where someone has vomited near me, a friend, but it's because they couldn't handle their shit. But I don't think I've ever had a experience where I'm simultaneously vomiting with someone, and then while I like look their way and then they look my way and we catch each other's eyes and we realize we're going to be best friends all the time. Maybe that's what I gotta do. I just gotta be puking. As soon as someone starts puking, I just need to start puking as well, because that's how I'm going to get some friends. That's it right there. Because if you can be like, ugh, around other people, then, you know, that's a level of openness that people, they're going to respect. They're going to be like, oh, wow, she gets it. What does she get? I don't know, but she gets it. So, he pulls out Deathfly's amulet, because that's what lets him to change in the amulet, if you're wondering. And he's like, he wants to give it to Heather. It's Ben's amulet. He's using it, turning into Deathfly, and he's eating people. Which, yeah, if you're gonna kill somebody, at least also eat them, because that's just meat wasted. We need to just cut to the damn chase here, because eventually civilization, we're gonna get to the point where eating humans is gonna be hip, or it's gonna be a necessity. All right, let's just go. I've already tried to compile a list of my like cannibal restaurants menu. Like, oh, I would probably go with, you know what, I almost said one of Kobe's shoulder muscles, but that's tough, because those are what broke him down. But I'm saying, like, or just some like NFL players like ACL in their prime. That's gonna be a top tier menu item. You know what I'm saying? Like Usain Bolt's anything will be served at my cannibal restaurant. I'm just saying we're gonna get to that at some point. So let's just do it. Let's just do it, and also let's just go back to gladiator fights. Just remove the gloves from UFC, and then nobody leaves till one of them's dead. I'm just ready to get there, because I don't think we're going to get there in my lifetime, and I want to see it. But I want it to be legal, because I'm no lawbreaker. So he gives her the amulet, because you know what? It doesn't go with anything he owns. Super stylish still. And, oh god, he has this line. It's so good. I just have to read it. And if you see Deathfly before I do, tell him that yesterday was the last day of the rest of his life. Are you kidding me? Okay, here's the thing. We're all gonna die. Spoiler alert. I'm sorry, kids, if I broke that one. Just broke that one wide open for you. But you know what? It's good to have lines like these at the ready. If you see Deathfly before I do, you probably don't need that part, because chances are you don't know a Deathfly. But you could use that as a nickname, I guess, because most people didn't read this. So you can just be like, call me Deathfly from now. But you better be able to do a backflip at least. Something that makes fly coincide with your interests. Tell him that yesterday was the last day of the rest of his life. I hate to use the vernacular of today, but that shit is savage as fuck. And I feel, you know, we're all gonna die. It's very likely that you're gonna see someone die in front of you. It hasn't happened yet, but it's like literally the clock is just ticking down. It's gonna happen. It's good to have these lines ready, just ready to go, especially if you're gonna murder somebody. God, there's so many shows on TV about murdering people. You gotta have a good last line. You don't want to be in the situation where they're down on their knees, the tears are just coming down everywhere, you got the gun in their mouth, and you got nothing? You had nothing? You didn't plan anything? Come on, I mean, if you're a guy watching this, I think everybody who watches these videos are guys. If you're gonna kill your wife, and you know you're gonna do it, just come up with a line. That's all I ask. So, it's that easy, okay? Because, so he's like, you know what? She made me miss my shows, sleeping on the floor, sucked ass. I'm ready to just go. Look at him. He looks absolutely just, I mean, his teeth are great. For a guy who drinks soda for breakfast, that enamel is quite impressive. So he runs in to, he's flying around. He's talking about how he wants to kill Ben Reilly, he wants to take it slow. He wants to spend all night just taking them apart. Because you know what? When you're going to kill somebody, really kill them. I mean, you're going to use a gun. Are you trying to make history here? Because you're not going to get in the history books if you use a gun. Unless you take down a lot of people. I mean, like a lot. Or have a manifesto. If you do a manifesto, especially a video manifesto, you definitely will become infamous. But I'm saying, if you want to be unique in your killing spree, don't use a gun. But you know what? He runs in to Ben Reilly, aka Deathfly, and we get this dope. Look at this. Just drink it in. Gotta remember, he doesn't have the amulet, so he can't go full Deathfly. But look at this look. Gotta get rid of this glare. Classic 90s look here. He's got the shades on. He's flying, so the haircut's not that obvious, you know, but it's definitely a 90s haircut. He's rocking a leather jacket with some studs, fingerless gloves, and then I remember in the 90s, everybody had dragonfly wings. I mean, God, like, go to JCPenney, and it's like, what color dragonfly wings do you want? The reason he gets the drop on Cyberfrog, you wouldn't think it would happen. He keeps evading his homing sense, which is kind of like his Spidey sense. If you've forgotten, it's like a buzzing in his head, and it doesn't go away until he seeks out the danger or whatever and solves the problems. So he just completely, Cyberfrog. Do frogs have spines? Are they invertebrate? Either way, this probably isn't good for his body, but, look at that. Fucking incredible. Just incredible. So he hits Cyberfrog so just right down to the street, and he grabs him by his ass because Cyberfrog has an ass that just won't quit. But you know what? I feel like frogs don't have asses. When I picture frogs in my mind, they just have like leg joints. And you know what? You can't contest me. You can't argue that. Because if you say, Lindsey, frogs do have asses, then we all know what you've been doing in your spare time. And now we will ostracize you. Kicked out of the group. Kicked out of the club. So he says his ultimate plan here, Osiris, the god of life after death. Well, that's a mouthful. We'll probably, trim that up a little bit. He gave him even more power because Osiris believes in the sanctity of marriage because this man wants to assimilate Heather Swan and make her his eternal bride. And so he wants to know how it feels to be so close to death. What does death smell like? Sulfur? Absolutely. Juicy fruit. Juicy fruit is a low tier gum. Frankly, I don't know how it still exists to this day because we can do any flavor now. But still juicy fruit's getting made? What the fuck? But I will definitely change that opinion if Juicy Fruit wants to sponsor me. I do chew gum like every day. What's with the shade, Benny? Let's see those baby blues. Ooh. Baby yellows. He's impervious to everything but his stupid insults, which you gotta build up that self-esteem. You're rocking dragonfly wings. You can fly. If you have the ability, let me say if you have like 8 more times. If you can fly, you should have like the highest self-esteem. Literally nothing. You should be untouchable. When it comes to words, come on. You're no different than anyone in my school. Always the insults over now. Oh yeah, he says his immunity to soap. You're no different than anyone in school. Always the same insults over and over. Then bathe. That's good. Because you know what? High schools, they fucking smell. Especially junior highs. Oh my god. If I had to walk into a junior high right now, I would just get a gas mask. Just straight up. I would just... No if and buts about it. I would just have to be like, I know they smell. And if not, it's going to be a thick coating Axe body spray. And that's just like... I can't. So if someone's telling you that you fucking stink, you should just bathe. But I don't mind. I want to be different. I like to be different. Oh god. This is like, if I'm going to be honest, this is like everybody watching this. Because everybody's like, I'm special. No, you're not. I'm not special, but here we are. I've played Naked Twisted in the 4 corners of hell. That's some dark poetry. While my peers are innocent of the simple ecstasy of drinking human blood. You know what? Can't knock until you tried it, so I can't discount them on that one. I've never been a person, like, if I get a cut, I don't put it in my mouth. I find that disgusting. Tell me who's superior. Cyberfrog calls out this man's mental instability, but he's rewarded with a punch because, you know, this guy, look at those eyes, crazy eyes. Okay, so I gotta skip some pages here. They fight a little bit, and then Ben Reilly, you know what I realize is Ben Reilly's like the ultimate nice guy. He's like, I want you. And he's not gonna stop till he gets Heather. He says he's all different and special and blah, blah, blah. He doesn't want to take baths. Ultimate nice guy. Maybe a little bit of, if he looked more like a neckbeard, I'd be more willing to call him that. But he was rocking that 90s look, so we can't. So, they toss around a little bit. And then, Ben Reilly transports him to hell. Look at this. He asks him if he wants to meet his maker. Cyberfrog says no. I sort of like Ethan better. Is Ethan better than God? That's one you're going to have to ask yourself. So he asks him if he's going to meet his maker. Farewell to Cyberfrog. Oh, he pulls Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. I don't even feel good making that reference because I still haven't watched Infinity War. So we cut back to Heather. She's just, you know, she's finally trying to get ready for high school, but she's got a teddy bear in her room, so you feel a little bit bad when you're looking at her rump. Because Ethan, he's a bad boy. He's drawing rumps. Ben Reilly, he shows up. She's like, what the fuck? She literally says, what the fuck? And she gets bear mace. She sprays him on. But you know what? You can't. I made that up. I don't want you to think that this was cooler than it actually was. So he says, persistence is key. Transporting him down to hell. Look at this. This is the god of Osiris here. Welcome to Ground Zero. I did not plan this. This shit is topical as fuck. It's 9/11 right now. So it's 9/11. The time is 9/11. Yeah, okay, that doesn't work out. I don't think that works out for anyone except maybe anyone in LA, and then you gotta wait. So it's 9/11. We got a Ground Zero reference. Did Ethan Van Sciver know about 9/11? If so, why didn't he stop it? Was he in cahoots with the Bush administration? Was this all an elaborate? Or maybe he knew about it. He was trying to warn people of the future about a war that's still ongoing to this day. Is Ethan Van Sciver a fucking psychic? Is Ethan Van Sciver, was he contracted by the United States government as a sleeper agent to embed patriotic subliminal messaging? Just whatever conspiracy you want to apply, just have at it. I might put, did Ethan Van Sciver know about 9/11 in the title, because that's catchy as shit. So we see, is that an Elvis? Just an Elvis bust right there? So, he gets the amulet back. Okay, yeah, I'll show this guy. I gotta show this. This is what we're all here for. He gets the amulet back that changes him from this to this, which, you know, depending on how you feel about the sexual attractiveness of bugs, an upgrade. And our boy Cyberfrog here, Cy, if you will, he gets encased in some rocks, but you know what? He's the hero now, and too bad there isn't a Deathfly comic. Osiris, he reads off, you know, their the wedding vows of hell, which include kiss the bitch, which, yeah, I mean, wedding vows, they definitely need an upgrade. And then we get some of this sweet action, which, I mean, it looks like he's taking a chunk of her face back with her. But it's cool because she looks like this now. And I mean, that's definitely, some people are definitely into vampires. Cyberfrog, that spurs him into action to yell her name in a different caption bubble than we're used to. That's the power. If a bug on human kiss. Oh god, isn't that gross to think about bugs giving you kisses? Like, yeah, spiders, you can crawl down my mouth however many times a year you want, but don't kiss me. Don't look at me with your 8 eyes and touch my cheeks with your 8 legs. Give me a little kiss-a-rooney. I don't want that. It's gross. So what does Cyberfrog do when he's encased in the rock? He just whips his tongue out, because if you've forgotten, his tongue, not to get too graphic here, but his tongue saliva produces tiny explosive circuits implanted through my tongue with a 15-second timer on each of them. This isn't the first appearance of that, but you know what? It is a little Adam West Batman, but you know what? We like Cyberfrog, so it's cool. That detonates. He launches right at Ben Reilly. Because he's got to handle the business. Look at this. He just lands right on him. You see that size difference there. And he just starts fucking wailing on him. I mean, look at that. Just what's a word for green? I keep thinking verde, but that's just green in Spanish. But like, not Viridian. Is Viridian green? I can't remember. I always think of the BT Bam song, but you know what? He's just wailing on him. Just keeps fucking pounding on him because Heather was the first human that was ever nice to him. So if you're gonna mess with somebody, probably don't do it to the first person who was ever nice to them, because their friend will seek revenge on you. That will involve beating you senseless. We get this fucking panel, which is outrageous. I feel like Ethan does this pose a lot with Cyberfrog, but it works. When you find something that works, yeah. Was it good for you? So he's beating this guy to a fucking pulp. He's got the line here. Just look at that. Just covered. Covered in deathfly blood. Fucking fantastic. And in the next page, he crunches up the amulet, which causes Heather to go back to herself. But you know what? Deathfly, he's not down. Because when you're named Deathfly, you can't just beat a man to a pulp. What you gotta do is you gotta beat him to a pulp, or beat the Deathfly to a pulp. You gotta beat the pulps into pulps. Then you gotta put that shit in a blender, stir that up, and then mix it with some Coke at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then chug that shit down. That's what you gotta do to a guy named Deathfly. So what does he do? He gives him one final swift kick. I mean, look at that arch on that kick. He fucking started that kick in the bottom pits of hell, and he reared that thing up to the fucking farthest reaches of heaven. And then it ends. It ends with, you know, they're magically transported. I feel like, you know what, if we're going to be for real, there should have definitely been more of them being in hell, because I feel like the god Osiris isn't going to be like, fair play. You guys beat my Deathfly. Here are your tickets home. So they get transported home, and you know what? She's got one favor to ask. Could Cyberfrog give her a lift home? Just look at that dude. Absolute unit of a Cyberfrog. And then there's one last page, just cuts back to some gang traffic shit that doesn't matter, but God, what a great issue. The best issue? I don't know. Best cover? Definitely. But the real question is, did Ethan Van Sciver cause 9/11? That's the one I'm into now. That's the one, like, oh my God. I think he was in New York at the time. Where were you when 9/11 happened? If you were in New York, you're a possible Taliban sleeper agent. Remember that.